Signal is safer than traditional cell phone traffic. You want to plan a meeting, that's fine. But the idea of this kind of classification information that could, as Jeffrey laid out, could put people in harm's way, there's no debate on this. So what's next is how many other of these chats and what is the content, and there needs to be a review.
That was the Vice Chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Mark Warner, today, not only detailing why putting classified information in a Signal group chat is an irresponsible and frankly dangerous way to handle our national intelligence, but also asking the one big question that still remains unanswered. How many more of these Signal chats exist? Joining me now is former CIA Director John Brennan, MSNBC Senior National Security and Intelligence Analyst. Director Brennan, let's start there. Senator Mark Kelly was on our air today, and he also had questions about other Signal chats. I want to play for you what he had to say.
I'm not sure it was in the open hearing, but I asked if there were other Signal chains with other principals. And the answer is yes, there is. I also asked about, have you gone through and checked to make sure there's no other random people in there? One of the witnesses says they did, the other didn't. So there's a possibility that there, on other Signal chains, that there are other random people that were included.
Director Brennan, is this unusual, one? And two, is this dangerous?
Well, yes, Simone, this is very unusual, and it seems to be getting uglier by the day, if not by the hour, in terms of what we're learning. And as Senator Warner and as Congressman Castro mentioned earlier, it's unclear exactly the extent to which the Signal chat has been used for other principal committee discussions. This was a Principals Committee virtual meeting that was held on Signal. And it was clear that they're talking about a pending military operation that really should have been in top secret systems and communication networks, but they chose to use Signal. Now, Signal, as pointed out, is encrypted when it's transmitted, but it's not encrypted when it gets to somebody's phone. And just on this instance here, on Yemen and the Houthis, the Iranians are the Houthis' main principal sponsor. The Iranians have very sophisticated technical capabilities. Maybe they have compromised Jeffrey Goldberg's phone or one of the other principals' phones, and they would have had access to this. And it wouldn't have taken them much to be able to reach out to the Houthis and say that U.S. aircraft and missiles are on the way to batten down the hatches, but also put together your air defense systems so that you can, in fact, prevent a successful attack. So I think looking back on it, I think we're all very thankful that nothing like that happened. But if they're using Signal for regular communication that includes classified information of a sensitive nature, there really is a question of what other sensitive programs or sensitive activities and of a classified nature have been put at risk.
Director Brennan, today the current CIA director and since then others have claimed that Signal comes loaded on the government phones already. And I worked in the Biden administration in the first year, and I can tell you Signal was not on my government phone, and there was a very small group of people within the federal government that had access to text messaging on their government phones. What do you make of the only way I can describe it, sir, is gaslighting from the current CIA director about what is happening with this instance, but also the broader security apparatus?
Well, that's why I think we need to get to the truth. And I think a first step was made when Senators Wicker and Reid asked the Inspector General of the Pentagon to do a thorough and immediate investigation on this so that we can actually understand what also might be at risk. And then to find out what has been going on in the first 70 days of the Trump administration, where national security matters have been discussed and deliberated, and to see whether or not there has been additional leakage of information in these unsecured channels. So, the Director Ratcliffe and Director Gabbard today and yesterday, I think they were dissembling a bit. I think they're trying to figure out exactly what happened themselves, and maybe they did not put any classified information onto this Signal chat. But it's clear that Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, as well as Mike Waltz, who is the chairman of these principal committee meetings, and he is the one responsible for setting the agenda, inviting individuals to participate, and to actually conduct this meeting. So again, I think we're going to learn a lot more, and hopefully we're going to learn that not sensitive information has been actually compromised.